Hi there. I have another one of those big bunch of journals that came over 10 days, 2 weeks. So this one is from June 22nd, the first of that day. And the Mayan day was in the middle, 5 night. So let's see what's in it. It's July 17th now, so I forgot. The urge is strong on me to write just now. Heaven knows there are plenty of written journals stacked up ready to record, but I checked it out and it's not time for that. Sometimes, well, actually often, you just have to feel it out by setting out to do this or that, to test the waters, see how it feels. As usual, not a clue about what's to be said, not even the subject matter. Gotta tell you, this continues to be a bit strange, no matter how many years and even decades I've been doing it. Like opening your mouth, not knowing what will come out. But it's such a privilege, too, to have mind so off to the side that this could be this way. Loving that. Today I've been rather high again on love. Finally got around to watching both videos in a row, part 1 and part 2 of Universe as a Friendly Place. Wow. Really packs quite a punch. It's what got me high, actually. Amazing stuff. And to know that the live transmission from the 12D occurred in between. Well, that feels right too, somehow. As if it's somehow relevant. Though, I don't know how. You know what? I think I'm going to go back and listen to those 3 in a row and see what I get. While I'm tempted to push back a bit against all of this not knowing, you know it's challenging, don't you? Being this blank. Still, as I watch that, I realize it's just mind. I don't know if I will ever get the perfect partnership going with mind, folks. I know one can come awfully close. The partnership can really improve tremendously after mind gets over fighting, being deposed from rulership of your life. Times are generally a bit rocky during that relationship adjustment phase. Just like a child or a teenager, it will fight and scheme for all it's worth, for as long as it takes for you to insistently persist in taking your power back from it. Well, during that time, it was rocky for me, and you've got it there to see in the journals. I tended to get dualistic with it, choosing to fight and resist it at every turn. It got pretty rough, as the journals from back then display. Still, I don't know that I'd do it any differently. I don't find that regret makes one bit of sense. We did the best we could at the time. We deserve to take credit for that. Life is hard enough on the self without us chiming in, beating ourselves up, huh? It's a precious day, though, when mind finally sees and admits that it will never get to rule you again. This part still isn't easy, though, for it may well lead into a time of depression that you can't quite figure out. Perhaps if you look at it through this angle, the light bulb will flash and you'll see what that is. You'll identify it as mind getting adjusted to its new, lesser status in your life. Lovely to know that in spite of how it feels, it's really not you who is depressed. It's mind. That way you get to both use your breathing room between you and mind, to take a break and get some distance from that on the one hand, but also to nurture and comfort mind in support of what it's going through on the other hand. As we remember just who we truly are, we realize that this is easily handled by Source. So, where are you in this whole trek today? How are you coming along in your relationship with mind? How much is it still running the show there where you are? The biggest deal is just to be able to see this at work, to know what's going on. That's more empowering than we usually realize at the time. Truly, heart vision is powerful stuff. I am beyond those two initial main stages. Guess I'm in stage 3, which is where mind accepts and understands that it rides in the back seat these days. But that doesn't mean it is entirely accepting of its role at all times. Mind tends to be undisciplined to a great extent. It gets excited about this or that and wants to take off after it. Or it thinks it can help you solve whatever you're pondering in heart, so it wants to chip in with its ideas. One thing I did for a while earlier on was to let down my guard a bit too much. Being so excited that mind finally got it, that it was no longer in control, that mind finally accepted the reality of that. At the time, I thought the battle was over, so I relaxed. I quit being on the alert for mind's tricks. Now, yeah, as you might guess, I paid a price for that, which was getting bamboozled any number of times. It was in sheer amazement that I developed a new respect for how tricky, how wily was mine, how slick it could weasel into my quiet time, how it would pretend to be spiritual and good for me, that sort of thing. It was still just a ruse to take back a measure of control. I am so glad I quit the nose-to-nose thing with mine, though. Playing the either-or duality game is no way to transcend anything, least of all 3D, which is our heart's desire. Is it really? I'm not so sure at this point. Right now, I just want to bring all that I am down into 3D. Anyway, no, mine makes a far better helpmate and companion than it does an enemy for sure. Don't fight your mind. Learn to understand it. Learn to love it. You already do. It's just a matter of burrowing down through the crap until you get down to that. Now, I feel that mind is a friend, actually, and one that I respect once again. Though for a while that respect was in tatters, it's back now, only with a difference. The difference that love can make. This is self we're talking about, even if it's only a small % of that, and it merits our respect. Besides, how we treat self is how we'll treat others. Love starts at home, right there, in heart. Anything else is just kidding the self. Given any time at all to sync up in heart with who you really are, you will deepen and broaden a good bit. Hard to put words to this, but you will grow by light years beyond mind's capacity to keep up with you. At some point, you won't be at all concerned about that. You'll just know that while mind has its uses, they don't extend to your deep heart explorations. You have other reserves to call on for that. Besides, as the HeartMath organization has demonstrated scientifically, heart has its own brain functions. It can think for itself, only on a much deeper level, not limited to 3D. So, as I've said before, given a certain amount of time to deepen in your relationship in heart with all of life, you will change. Your shifting will go much faster now. You will have found your warp drive there within. Once again, you're the captain of your own ship, and who knows how long it's been, how many embodiments since we were that, my friends? My guess, quite a darn few. I feel it's like the atmosphere around me feels pregnant with what? I don't quite know. Change, certainly, but something else too. I almost expect some light being to step out of the ethers into the room for a chat. The emptiness feels so very full somehow. Like I say, pregnant. Maybe not the best word, but it's at least descriptive of the feeling. We finally made it through the summer solstice. Sacred day. A very special full moon arrives soon, with the earth so close that it already appears truly huge in the sky. It's why there haven't been a lot of auroras visible in spite of the high-speed solar wind. So I guess we're getting adjusted yet again after a short 10-day or so hiatus. Now, in addition to the other various symptoms I won't bore you with, for I've shared them often enough, I tend to have sort of a metallic taste in my mouth. I have to be more careful with how I hold my crystals, too. Seems I've grown more sensitive to them as well. Got to be careful where I place the points, or I might get too much of a charge of energy from them, one that hurts. On the other hand, sometimes having them pointed at a chakra, especially around the belly, is pure bliss. Such a yummy feeling, it just goes all through you. Sometimes I lay here at night with a big crystal on the solar plexus or the second chakra, watching Adyashanti or some such, and just feeling way too good to express. It's actually physically pleasurable. Go figure, huh? Not sure what that's about, but it's got to be a flow of some kind. Maybe it's got to do with the DNA changes, maybe removal of blockages to the flow of chi, or I just don't know what. I always felt good about the crystals and loved to have them always close. It didn't extend to these physical sensations, though. Not much. I would sometimes get stung by the points, but not much more than that. Now this. I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying it. There is really no need to understand anything, not with the 3D mind at least. I rest in the deep inner knowing that heart or source knows it all, and being that means that on some level I do too, and that's enough. There's a level of trust that comes with divine love that's beautiful to experience. There's such peace in it. May all suffering cease. May all life be infinitely blessed and find their way to the deepest desires of their heart. May all find their way home into light who want to do that. may all others find their way to where they want to go as well. Surely, in this big, beautiful cosmos, there's room aplenty for one and all, for every dream and desire to be filled appropriately, for all to be with others of their own heart's persuasion. Well, that way the roughnecks can have a world of roughnecks where they get to deal with others of their own just like them. I'm sure the greatest learning and development would come like that, rather than having them run roughshod over innocent life that prefers a gentler way of life. It's just time for a good sorting out. Not that I presume to know how it's being done, just that it is, and I'll settle for that. Remember, friends, mind is that which always wants to know. That's not you. And the more breathing space you develop between you and mind, the greater your peace and freedom will be, as well as an increased measure of your power comes back. No one can do this for us, however, so do be alert. Make yourself happy. Take back control of your life by deposing mind from the throne. Endless blessings. Namaste.